What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C4, and today, in continuation with the last video where we looked at the top 2018 offensive draft prospects, we're gonna do the opposite, and we're gonna be looking at the defensive prospects. Maybe more so where we need to look with the Philadelphia Eagles, and especially in the secondary, improving there through the draft. We got 3 first-round picks, so let me know in the comment section below as I go through these guys what players you want me to scout and look at bringing into the Philadelphia Eagles. As always, before we jump right in, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And you like this kind of stuff, trust me, the most in-depth connected franchise mode in terms of players and play style that you're going to find on YouTube. So hopefully you want to stick along for the ride. And if you like these real draft prospects, please smash that like button. But without further ado, now all that nonsense is out of the way, we're taking a look at the top 5 defensive linemen to start out. We'll start at number 5, Dashawn Hand from the University of Alabama, a pass rusher, 6'4", 280-pound defensive end, currently with a second-round grade. I mean, Alabama just absolutely churns out pro prospects on the defensive side of the ball, and Hand is definitely going to be one of the top defensive ends in this year's draft class. Number 4 is going to be Caleb Brantley from the University of Florida, balanced playmaker, 6'2", 300-pound, second-round grade, probably best suited to be a defensive tackle in a 4-3 scheme. I don't think he has the speed or athleticism to really necessarily be a defensive end in a 3-4. But, I mean, Brantley from the University of Florida, I mean, much like Alabama, I think Florida is just right behind them in terms of producing defensive prospects. I mean, look at it. Look what it's been on, from D-line all the way back to safety. You've had Jarrad Davis. You've had Marcus May. You had Vernon Hargraves, Jalen Tabor, Brian Cox, Dante Fowler. I mean, the run on talent has been, almost endless for Florida. And I think Brantley certainly has the potential to be that next great prospect. Number 3 is Eddie Vanderdoes from the UCLA, run stopper. This guy is an absolute run stopper. I think, a team that, that really just appreciates, if you will, a run-stopping first defensive tackle. It's kind of, much like the fullback position. I say it's one of those positions that's starting to fall back to the side, but Vanderdoes does it better than anyone else in this year's draft class. So that's why he has the second-round grade, 6'2", 305 pounds. You wouldn't think, he's not built like a nose tackle that predominantly is used to stop the run, but this guy here absolutely blows up running backs in the backfield. Number 2 is going to be Charles Walker from the University of Oklahoma, balanced trait. 6'3", 305-pound defensive end, first-round grade. I mean, this guy here is very, very talented. I see some shades of maybe even a Fletcher Cox in him. More so just for other teams. We're not going to be looking for defensive ends, really. But maybe we should, because, I mean, Brandon Graham and Vinny Curry aren't getting any younger. And we could use some defensive ends. But, he's more of a 4-3 D tackle. He's not really going to fit as a 4-3 defensive end for my team. But he definitely will beast on whatever team ends up drafting him in the first round. And the number 1 defensive line prospect is Lowell Lotulelei. There we go. I don't know if he's related to Star Lotulelei, who's on the Carolina Panthers. I assume he is. I think they both went to Utah. He's a balanced 4'3 defensive tackle, 6'2", 305 pounds, first-round grade. Maybe the most well-balanced defensive lineman in this year's draft class. That's why a lot of the scouts are ranting and raving about him. He can get after the running back. He'd also make plays in the backfield on the quarterback, which is why he is so savory to all defensive coordinators. Hopefully they can get into their GM's ear and draft Lowell Lotulelei. Now jump into the linebacking prospects. We are going to be starting at number 5 with Lorenzo Carter from the University of Georgia, pass rusher. This guy got a great build, 6'6", 245 pounds, second-round grade. I honestly, we see a guy like that, you're like, oh, okay, he's a 3-4 outside linebacker. I can honestly see him being a 4-3 outside linebacker. He's that athletic. He could drop back into coverage, not be a complete liability. He's kind of built like Leonard Floyd a bit. I mean, I don't know where they're growing these guys in Georgia like peaches, but they are absolute playmakers and very warranted for that second-round grade. Number 4 is going to be Dante Booker from Ohio State, a cover 2 linebacker. Another one of these just freaky, speedy outside linebackers for Ohio State. 6'2", 235 pounds, second-round grade. Would not be surprised to see him run the fastest 40. Very similar to like a Ryan Shazier type. Booker is just another player in a long line of athletic Ohio State linebackers, and definitely some guy that we will be considering with, we got 3 first-round picks, maybe moving them, get a couple second rounds. I don't know, but this guy here could certainly warrant a spot on my roster. Number 3 is going to be Marques Haynes from Ole Miss, a prototypical linebacker, 6'2", 240 pounds. Second-round grade. I think he will be best as a middle linebacker. I think he can play a little bit of outside. because he has some pretty solid pass rushing ability. I think personally, if I was going to draft him, I'd use him as a middle linebacker, and I'm not really looking for a middle linebacker right now, but I'm never going to say never. We got that 4-3. I don't think we're ever going to revert back to a 3-4, especially with the success we've had with Fletcher Cox, but Haynes definitely will be pretty high on a lot of people's draft board come draft day. Number 2 is going to be Anthony Walker Jr. out of Northwestern. Balanced trait, 6'1", 235 pounds, first round grade. Middle linebacker all the way. Incredibly smart. Maybe the best instincts in this year's draft class. Not as freaky athletic as the number 1 guy, but I mean, this guy has an absolute nose for the football. And not too often you see 2 pure inside linebackers have first round grades, but these guys here are some of the best I've seen in quite some time and well worth that grade. But no further ado, number 1 is Zack Cunningham out of Vandy, balanced linebacker, 6'3", 230 pounds, first round grade. One of the best middle linebackers I've seen in college football. I put him right up there with C.J. Mosley. He's at a smaller school. I don't know what happened. I don't know why he got passed over. Maybe it was like a Khalil Mack situation where a lot of the big teams just, their eyes were looking at other guys and they missed the diamond in the rough. But I mean, Zack Cunningham's an absolute beast. And, unfortunately, like I said, I'm not really looking for a middle linebacker right now. Hicks is doing his job, and I don't think one of these guys would be too happy, them and their agent finding out that they were drafted to the Eagles just as a depth guy. But if you guys think I should get another middle linebacker, I may have to take it, a chance on Cunningham or Walker Jr. I'm big fans of both of those guys. And without further ado, we're finishing with the defensive backs, grouping the safeties and corners together for the easiness for me. Jumping at number 5 is Quinn Blanding from Virginia, balanced safety, 6'1", 205 pounds with a second round grade. Malcolm Jenkins isn't getting any younger. Roddy McLeod is, nearing the end of his prime. I'd probably say we got another 2-3 seasons for him, but we may still have to look at grooming the next prospect for Malcolm Jenkins. And Blanding is a big time hitter, solid coverage skills, and I don't think, I think it almost would be ideal fit because I don't think he can start right away, and we would have him sit behind Malcolm Jenkins for at least another couple seasons. That could be best for him, so that's a potential prospect. Number 4, going inverse. Number 4 is cornerback Quincey Wilson from the University of Florida, a zone corner, 6 feet tall, 210 pounds, second round grade. Can also play a little bit of safety, but I think he'll best project as a corner. A little bit of a tweener. Again, another potential prospect we could look at. I am biased to getting Florida Gators, but I mean, when we got the first round, he probably won't be in the first round. He'll be there in the second round. So maybe we risk it and try to hope and get him in the second round, because I think, the top 3 prospects ahead of this are guys I'd prefer to use with my first 3-round picks. But definitely a solid prospect out of Florida in Quincey Wilson, who I am going to now anoint Florida DBU. Vernon Hargreaves, check. Jalen Tabor, check. A couple years before that, you got Joe Hayden, check. You got Marcus May at safety, check. Keanu O'Neal at safety, check. I think Quincey Wilson has a chance to be in that list with those guys mentioned. Number 3, another potential DBU school, Washington, Sidney Jones, a prototypical corner, 6 feet tall, 180 pounds, first round grade. I don't think he's as good as Marcus Peters was coming out of Washington, but still one hell of a prospect, prototypical corner, certainly high on my draft board. I'd be happy with any of these top 3 guys. But, I mean, where I'm more so looking at a corner, I think Sidney Jones is near at the top of my list and going to be very high on a guy I want to use with one of my first 3 first-round picks. I don't know if I'm going to have to use my highest one on him. Hopefully I can use maybe number 3. But Sidney Jones is a beast. Let me know what you think about getting him. Number 2 is Tony Brown from the University of Alabama, a man-to-man corner, 6 feet tall, 195 pounds, first-round grade. This guy's going to absolutely light up the 40-yard dash. I wouldn't be surprised to see him have a low 4.3, high 4.2. I mean, some absolute speedsters, be it Tony Brown at corner. You also got KD Cannon and Devin Allen at the wide receiver positions. These guys are going to absolutely have a track meet at the combine. But if he runs a really good 40, that may be enough to propel him over Sidney Jones. I mean, he's from Alabama, so he's well coached, very coached up from Nick Saban. I mean, they just churn out defensive prospects after defensive prospects. I've actually had a little bit of a bad run on defensive backs, especially corners. D. Milner wasn't kind of a bust. Draker Patrick's kind of still trying to find his feet there in Cincinnati. So maybe we have to be a little bit worried about getting Tony Brown. But we'll have to see what happens near draft day. But the number 1 defensive back, Jamal Adams from LSU, a playmaker. Defensive back, 6 feet tall, 215 pounds, first round grade. Probably a top 10 prospect, a lock for that. He's a safety. I don't really need a safety. I wonder if I could probably potentially move him to the cornerback position. What do you guys think about doing that? Maybe drafting Jamal Adams and putting him at corner. Who fucking knows? But, let me know who you guys think I should draft. I got 3 first round picks, so, don't be afraid to make a list. And as always, if you're new to the channel and you like this kind of stuff, please subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section below. Get it going. And until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out.